A New Light Video Magazine, seeing in a new perspective. March issue, Volume 24. The Best Of Anniversary issue, People's Choice Edition. Lots of great stories in this one that we're going to revisit, including Ancient Vimana Found, MerPeople, From Dummies to Digital, and even Black Holes in the Universe, just to name a few. And don't forget to check out the monthly trivia and the ANA celestial calendar and forecast inside. To find out more, visit us at www.newlightvideomagazine.com or follow us in HD on YouTube for the best viewing experience. We'll see you there. Table of Contents. The table of contents is designed for you to get the best enjoyment from INLVM. Simply find the story you want to experience from the contents and go to that time code, or let it play for the full issue. Contents. Otherworld News. Ancient Vimana, July issue 2014. Time code 338. Rolling Green Project, Geodomes, October issue. Time code 1219. MerPeople, November issue. Time code 1636. Feature story, Max the Crystal Skull, Mysterious Ancient Crystal Skulls, January issue. Time code 2214. What's Up? Dead Time, Uncovering Unexplained Phenomena. The Phenomena Between 3 and 320. August issue. Time code 2705. Entertainment Central. Trivia Time. Time code 3258. 3D Printing, September issue. Time code 3557. From Dummies to Digital, April issue. Time code 3935. Holistic Health. Diatomaceous Earth, our June issue. Time code 4457. Earth's Little Miracle Plant, July issue. Time code 5004. Astronomy and Astrology. Astronomy Photo of the Month, Butterfly Nebula, May issue. Time code 5520. Black Holes in the Universe, December issue. Time code 5730. ANA Celestial Calendar and Forecast. Time code 10132. About a New Light Video Magazine. Time code 10736. Contributors and credits. Time code 10832. Our first People's Choice story comes from our July issue, and it's about an ancient Vimana. And here's Tammy to tell you a little bit more about what it is and about where they found it.
Ancient Vimana Found. Hidden for 5,000 years, the ancient flying Vimana is not just a myth anymore. About 4 years ago, reports from various sources started to circulate of an ancient artifact that was found in a cave in Afghanistan. It has been called one of the most significant finds in history and even been called a hoax. Yet still over half of the population has not heard of it. It all started here, According to reports, a group of United States soldiers were scouting an area and came to a cave. The research I compiled puts the discovery on or around July 31st of 2010. Inside, they found an unusual flying machine that was hidden in this cave for approximately 5,000 years. The flying machine has been identified as an ancient artifact called the Vimana that was actually believed to be a myth. The group of soldiers exploring the cave described it being in a time well. The time well creates some type of energy force that is a barrier around the Vimana, which acts like an invisible shield. Scientists actually have a perfectly logical explanation for this energy force. It's an electromagnetic radiation gravity energy field. The reports that follow next are progressively tragic. During whatever research they were doing to the object in the cave, perhaps while trying to move it, which they actually did accomplish later, a reaction occurred that killed many soldiers. It has been determined that either the time well or the Vimana caused the reactions that incinerated whatever was in short-range proximity. What happens has been described to be like a death ray or a blast of radiation that completely incinerates anything in proximity to nothing, just gone. Heavy solar activity blasts and flares that have been occurring and escalating in the recent years are theorized to be a trigger in causing these reactions. I was able to find 2 different incidences where this reaction occurred while it was being moved and resulted in the deaths of military personnel. Reports vary, but through researching several sources on this topic, it appears that between 8 to 50 United States military personnel have gone missing or have perished during attempts to move the ancient flying Vimana from the cave it was found in. All that sounded like some far-fetched hoax of someone's active sci-fi imagination. In fact, some are calling it a hoax, and that is probably what made me really want to do more research. What I discovered can really make you rethink the possibilities of life in view of ancient civilizations, history, scripture, religions, fate, myths, technology, and government. And then the course that we see all civilizations take through history, their rise and fall. Honestly, this discovery of a Vimana is more than remarkable. It's like a fantasy has come to life, literally. We went through the accounts and process of the discovery of this ancient flying machine, but there is a rich and long story that unfolds. Mainly, it is because we do have knowledge of it and can identify it. A myth coming face to face with reality. Think about it a moment. How would you react to seeing a dragon flying around, or a mermaid? It would be pretty shocking and amazing to the senses all at the same time. This is just like that. In the cave with Vimana were ancient writings that revealed the owner of this Vimana, and reports state that it belonged to the ancient Persian prophet Zoroaster, who was the founder of Zoroastrianism, which is believed to be the basis from which all religion is based. Yet, where did the knowledge go? Attempts that actually have been fairly successful to remove the knowledge and faith from history occurred, and it has literally changed everything we know and are taught to believe. It is not surprising that differences in religion is what urged this process to wipe out parts of history as if it didn't exist. But it did, and it appears that it is coming back through new discoveries being made just in the last few years, saying, "Remember me." There are said to be over 100 epics that have not been translated from ancient Sanskrit. Until now, most believed that their knowledge was just mystical stories, and some still do. There are still others that have believed for a long time, and it is taught in their Indian faith. In ancient Indian Sanskrit text, known as epics, it not only mentions Brahmanas, it describes them in details. One epic known for this knowledge is the Mahabharata. Another ancient Vedic text called Samaranga Setradhara gives detailed descriptions of the mercury vortex engines of these flying machines, which were created from a more advanced knowledge than the ion engines being made today. Vimanas are said to operate by anti-gravity propulsion with a mercury vortex engine. The advanced technology about the mercury vortex engine is described by the Indologist William Clarendon. This is quoted from his translation of the Samaranga Sutradhara. Inside the circular airframe, place the mercury engine with its solar mercury boiler at the aircraft center. By means of the power latent in the heated mercury, which sets the driving whirlwind in motion, a man sitting inside may travel at great distance in a most marvelous manner. 4 strong mercury containers must be built in the interior structure. When these have been heated by fire through solar or other sources, the Vimana aircraft develops thunder power through the mercury. The Vimanas were manned and unmanned vehicles. They could be used by humans to travel, to protect, and had several uses during peace and war times. These epics explain how they work, how to build them, and the type of deadly weaponry that they can have, which is more than likely why so many of the world's most powerful leaders flocked to Afghanistan upon the discovery of an artifact with these qualities and advanced technology. The use and knowledge of this type of weaponry could create mass destruction, and it may have at one time in ancient history. There is so much more I could delve into with this discovery, but I need to leave you, our reader, with things to ponder and research for yourselves. How do you think this discovery will change the future? How did it change history? And what more will we find by focusing now on translating those ancient epics in Sanskrit? This is Tammy Sabo reporting on the discovery of the ancient flying machine, the Vimana.
History, hauntings, happenings. Find your truth with Sixth Sense World. www.sixthsenseworld.com. Our second People's Choice story is our Rolling Green Project's Geodomes from the October issue. And here's Samantha to tell you a little bit more about that.
Geodesic domes. As Rick and I head to the new home of the Rolling Green Eco Station in the Colorado foothills, we plan to keep an eye out for the alien invasion from the comfort of the geodesic domes for our above-ground structures. Geodesic is defined by Wikipedia as an adjective meaning of, relating to, or denoting the shortest possible line between 2 points on a sphere or other curved surface, or as a noun meaning a geodesic line or structure, which turns out similar to the structure of a soccer ball. A geodesic dome is comprised of polygon and hexagon pieces, often with a planned door and windows incorporated into the structure. The designs of the geodesic domes are much more customizable than one might think, and offers a structure that can withstand hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, meteor showers, and even nuclear blasts. Depending on the size and materials, a geodesic structure can be built in a few hours with entirely repurposed materials, costing literally nothing but time to build, or materials can be purchased and assembled for a fraction of the typical building structures and can be completed within a few weeks for a large build with just a couple of people working together on it. They are built from the top down, with each lower level creating the arc of the dome as it becomes taller and wider. One person can easily build the smaller versions, but at least 2 people would be recommended for a larger build to help steady the frame as it is lifted. The shape of the structure not only allows for its amazing strength, but also creates an interior environment that's economically more efficient for heating and cooling. More than one dome can be connected using the same geodesic designs to create interesting shapes and structures, or to expand the interior square footage. As the Rolling Green Project moves home to Colorado at the end of this month, our plan is to outreach with the community for donations of their disposals of tires, bicycle rims, and other repurposable items so that we can begin to build our eco-station with the geodesic domes as the above-ground structures. We intend to take them a step further in making them eco-friendly, and we'll be adding an earth berm around our structures so that we can continue to plant our gardens on top and to keep them perfectly insulated, as well as camouflaged to look like part of the landscape. We will be using plans I've gotten for free online at www.domarama.com, which offers thousands of eco-friendly do-it-yourself structures and projects, and thousands more can be found online in places like Instructables.com and YouTube. The possibilities are endless with this strong yet simplistic design that can be used to create portable shelters, bomb shelters, greenhouses, biodome ecosystems, unique eco-friendly family dwellings, or even an entire village. We are very excited at what the months ahead will have for us to show you as we film the progress and building of the Rolling Green Eco Station No. 1 in Castilla County, Colorado, home of the cattle mutilations and UFO reports for the past century. Perhaps we will have more than just our eco projects to give a fresh scoop on. Stay up to date on the progress of the Rolling Green Project at www.rollinggreenproject.org. This is Samantha Phoenix for A New Light Video Magazine.
Because a first impression is a lasting impression. Visit Freedom Phoenix Web Solutions to create your best web presence. Our third People's Choice story comes from our November issue, and it's on MerPeople. And here's Stacy to tell you a little bit more about them.
MerPeople, aquatic relatives. Merpeople, commonly called mermaids or mermen, have fascinated many people throughout the years. In the past, they were described as beautiful women, enchanting sailors, at times to their deaths along rocky shores. Stories of merpeople have been told for hundreds of years. But are they true? There are claims that merpeople were apes that turned to the sea for food. True, humans can hold their breath for up to 20 minutes, almost as long as dolphins. We have a bit of webbing between our fingers, which is a feature of aquatic-type life that goes along the evolutionary theory. These stories of island people actually walking on the bottom of the ocean to fish, and stories that the Mocha people of Southeast Asia can even extract their pupils at will to control water distortion to the point that is like looking through swimming goggles. And in some places, humans can fish without nets. In places such as Brazil, coastal West Africa, and in Southeast Asia, dolphins help them fish. The fishermen will go to the shore, call the dolphins, and the dolphins will herd in schools of fish inland so the fishermen can surround them and then net them. These are wild dolphins, yet they are not afraid of being caught themselves. They seem to understand they are helping, and they understand that the fishermen will release them, and of course, the fishermen give them a share of the bounty. In remote areas, the efficiency of people in water is remarkable. Is this so hard to believe? In searching, I found an interesting bit of information that really surprised me. Scientists believe that common-day orcas evolved from a type of wolf-like ancestor, and a type of brown bear became the polar bear. So, just maybe, that type of human evolution is possible. Animal Planet aired the show Mermaids, The Body Found. That really made many people think again about the existence of merpeople. It was laughed at as a hoax or greatly believed, with most all opinions to one extreme or the other. Later, some of their footage was thought to be fake, but others explained it was a dramatization for the documentary during unfilmed events. It is known that ancient Babylonians, Polynesian tribes, and Syrians all worship merpeople. Mermaids are known in just about all cultures from many different sides of the world, in civilizations that did not have contact. In 1836, fairy tale Little Mermaid was said to be inspired by the mermaid on Greek pottery, as well as John Williams Waterhouse's painting titled The Mermaid. There are countless pictures out there of those claiming to find merpeople bones and having footage of them. Many fishermen tell stories of them, catching them in their big nets and seeing them swim with other aquatic life. On YouTube alone, you will find it loaded with these videos. At Emisola Maternity Hospital in downtown Manila in the Philippines, Dr. Joseph Aquino reportedly delivered a merbaby to a healthy human woman. This woman, who is nameless, is single and claims to have a merman lover. Scientifically speaking, there is a type of birth defect called cerenomela, where the legs are joined together. Life expectancy for those born with this disorder is very slim. Shallow Pipin has been the only human that has lived past 3 days. So that theory does not support the other claims unless you consider them being like fish out of water. Many fishermen have also reported seeing fish cut in ways that are not common by predatory animals of the sea. So what should we believe? Sure, we can state that there is no such thing as merpeople, and that they are simply the imagination playing out, but honestly the proof for and the proof against it are almost evenly balanced. And then we wonder, how did dolphins learn to fish with humans? Our oceans are very, very deep, vast, and massive. It could be possible for them to exist, see us as a threat, and hide from us. Honestly, I would too. If we did come in contact with them, we would probably do painful tests to these creatures, all in the name of science. From cave drawings to people snapping pictures and videos of these mysterious aquatic beings, I can't help but feel that there is something to it. There is proof that other land-faring animals went to the sea. Why couldn't ancient apes? Through evolution, many things are possible. It is nice to imagine mermaids as beautiful women swimming through the sea, but honestly, I feel that is not the case. The whole idea of them looking like humans is far-fetched, as they are a different species. I feel that truth and myth are equally measured here. It could have very well been the fact that the ape-like humanoid did in fact begin to turn to the sea for food and survival. So this could very well be a species having to adapt in order to survive. That is one trait that is in all living things on this earth: survival instincts. It would seem the will to live is heavily ingrained in all life forms. What do you think? There has been a lot of chatter over merpeople lately, and this could be for a good reason. Or is it just another type of hoax going around? The sea is a vast place. Could they be hiding from us in fear of us? We would love for you to share your thoughts, hear your opinions. I know I will definitely begin looking at the sea as a whole new world. Thank you for watching and listening. This is Stacy Hill with a New Light Video Magazine.
Reiki Attunement Classes with Reiki Master Instructor Reverend Stacy Hill. For more information, send an email to revstacyhill@gmail.com and start a journey in Reiki today. Our fourth People's Choice story comes from our January issue, and it was just too cool not to come back. We're talking about Max the Crystal Skull, the mysterious ancient crystal skulls. And here's Stacy once again to tell you a little bit more about Max.
Max, the Crystal Skull.
Mysterious ancient crystal skulls.
In several of our issues, we have discussed the use of crystals for healing. We have touched on the energetic properties of crystals and their uses, but Max is a bit unique. I learned of this crystal a while back and learned of the healing that Max has helped others accomplish. Reportedly to be one of 13, Max has toured most of the U.S., healing, inspiring, and assisting others on their spiritual path. Many have even been healed just with one session with Max. Max has been studied by many scientists, gemologists, and geologists from around the world, but he leaves them all in amazement. One thing that they can't understand is that they feel he should be deteriorating by now, but he's not. You see, Max is a very unique skull. Not only can his energy be felt for 2 blocks, he is made from 5 separate pieces with 2 matrices, and he is the only one in the world made like this. The kicker here is that crystals do not grow like this. Well, not on this planet. The British Museum even investigated Max, but left a no comment result because they couldn't figure out how he was created. Joanne Parks, Max's guardian, received him from a Red Hat Lama monk to help her daughter who had bone cancer. He is said to be between 5,000 and 36,000 years old and was found over 100 years ago in a Guatemalan tomb. Max is said to have come from Guatemala, but his true origins are really unknown. It is said that Mayans used the skulls, but they didn't make them. Max isn't alone. There is one more that has been found that is said to be original, Shana Ra. Shana Ra has a purpose as well. Part of his message is that he is a child of Earth, though not a god. He is a shaman's tool and states the only magic he possesses is that he is a mirror to you. So basically whatever you see in his eyes is what you are in his heart. Max does have a message as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. These two skulls have actually spent time together. They have two different energies, but they work together. They are brothers, but emit different energy waves. They are said to be almost like a computer chip, as they can store energy. Many believe they came from another planet. Joanne states, there are many people who think he's from another planet and is an encoded messenger. Some believe he was part of Atlantis as well. I think he's been in cultures that have come and gone that we didn't even know existed. And my favorite, she said that he is a unifying force to bring people together. I am you, and you are me, and we are both one and the same. She goes on to say that he is here to remind us of family and to not let bickering and fighting tear you apart, to come back together. Family unit is important, and to be larger, it is the family of humanity and even the universe. Also, she speaks about the children and their important role. Children are our future, and we must remember that. Many who come into contact with Max have profound visions and psychic experiences and have changed their lives for the better. Joanne states, to me, Max is in the shape of a skull because it is a universal symbol of man. Human skulls are keepers of knowledge, a reflection of man, an extension of one's own self. This is another story that really has no ending. Max is truly fascinating and mysterious, with a deep energy of knowing. It has been shown that crystals do in fact carry energy, and many believe that we could even use them for energy to power our homes. Again, another way this magnificent Earth can heal us. I do believe that for every ailment we have, Earth holds the cure. I stated earlier about a message from Max. Here is his message. Not just any message, but a message of peace. Peace to the world. He says peace begins within, and we must learn to trust one another, to develop a world that will truly be free. It begins with love, he says. Everyone in his presence can feel his energy and is transformed in some way. Whether you believe in Max or not, you can't deny all the assistance he has given to others. I, for one, would really love to meet Max myself and to experience his energy personally. I feel that this is something that everyone needs to research and experience. If you have a personal experience with Max, we would love to hear from you to share your experience. Thank you for watching and listening. This is Stacy Hill with a New Light Video Magazine.
Our fifth People's Choice story comes from our August issue, and it's Dead Time. If you want to know more about the phenomena that happens between 3 and 3:20, here's a previous version of myself to tell you a little bit about it. What's up? Uncovering unexplained phenomena. Dead time. Between 3 and 3:20. In the field of parapsychology, the term dead time is a time that is considered an optimal time to research possible paranormal phenomena. Many paranormal researchers prefer to do investigations during this time frame because it's believed to be the best time to capture any unusual phenomena. But what time is that, and where did we get the idea from, right? Now that we have established what we are going to be looking into and what questions we will be answering, let's start unfolding some information and light on dead time as it relates to parapsychology. When is dead time? It has been generally noted at or around 3 a.m., but if we want to be more specific, let's say between 3 a.m. and 3:20 a.m. There are several reasons to ponder how 3 a.m. or 3:20 became dead time. Of course, we all know that 3 a.m. is what we consider to be the middle of the night for most of us, and is when we are typically sleeping. It's the darkest time of the day and typically the spookiest too. What makes it so spooky is the fact that we can't see as well. It's that fear of the dark. There are more stories, books, and shows that have been created from pulling on the fear of darkness than I could even begin to name. Now that we have established the time of dead time, let's look into the idea of why this is considered dead time. I know I have already spoke about some reasons when I mentioned that it is the dead of the night, or the middle of the night which is the darkest and spookiest, but there is actually more on how this time was established. So how 3:20 a.m.? Years of research from countless teams have been able to determine that this is when the veil between the physical plane and spiritual plane is the thinnest. To all the researchers out there, That is something that I'm sure we have all heard, and more than likely have even said. What is the veil for the rest of us? Right? For the most part, many of us are unaware of a spiritual part of life and a physical one. We live in the physical part, yet we are still spiritual beings. In science, mainly metaphysics, we reason that these exist at the same time, but on different planes, much like the heaven and earth concept. We don't see heaven, but we believe it is there. At 3:20 a.m., the line that separates these planes is called the veil. Speaking of heaven and earth, some researchers may not even realize that it is also in Scripture. 1 Kings 3:20 speaks of dead time. 1 Kings 3:20. And rising in the dead time of the night, she took my child from my side, while I, thy handmaid, was asleep, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. Is it ironic or coincidence that it appears in chapter 3, verse 20? We have explored what dead time is, but there is one very crucial part to this story that we are just now beginning to open. This is a good part for researchers, seasoned and new, those just acquainted for the first time with the idea of dead time, and those that have only considered the darkest hours for dead time. Let's analyze time itself for a moment. We have 24 hours in a day that repeat a 12-hour cycle, which means there are 2 times during the day that hit on 3:20. So what, right? Well, I have been researching this for several years, and I have found that there are a lot of paranormal phenomena occurrences reported not only around 3 a.m., but also 3 p.m. times. Most significantly, 3:20 p.m. Therefore, we are bringing a new light on dead time, in the sense that it's not limited to just the dark hours of the night, but the daylight hours too. Honestly, even with the understanding that dead time is significant in paranormal research, there must be something even more that connects the physical and spiritual in time, and how it is relative to 3 o'clock and 3:20. I have found very little information on other researchers that are pondering this perspective. I think that it is certainly worth more investigation, and perhaps new realization can be found that connect these planes of life. If you're tired of the same old ghost hunts and paranormal shows, try getting your spook on in the light of day and see what you might uncover. Since A New Light video magazine is all about sharing new perspectives and bringing information into a new light, I think it is important to go ahead and note that the term dead time can refer to other things as well. A. It can refer to time spent in prison that does not count toward time sentenced. B. In detection systems, it is the time after each event during which the system is not able to record another event. An example is the pause or delayed time between taking photos with a flash. Article by Tammy Sabo, sharing a new perspective on dead time.
Today, we're going to look at the many health benefits of guanamakahuji juice. Guanamakahuji juice is a life-giving juice that has been made and bottled the same way for thousands of years. Notice the little ridges on the bottle. They help aerate the guanamakahuji and actually promote its health and life-giving juice qualities. And it's truly delicious. You can almost feel it going to work instantly as it courses through the system, providing the body with its much anticipated and needed life-giving elements.
Is there something you want to know more about? Send your story request to innewlightmag@gmail.com and put story request in the subject line, because knowledge is always power, but ignorance is not always bliss.
Oh, that's not good.
Entertainment Central! Trivia time! Music trivia time. The answer to last issue's trivia question: when was the first written music notation invented? 1070. Argentino invented the present musical notation we use today in 1070. This information was found in the Farmer's Almanac from the 1970s and was also in the book A Million Facts of Correct Data and Elementary Constants in the Entire Circle of the Sciences, and on all subjects of speculation and practice, written by Sir Richard Phillips, and yes, that is a long title. This issue's trivia question: what was the first video uploaded to YouTube, and by whom? Look for the answer in the next issue, baby. And a new trivia question. Stick-a-Pick, the must-have guitar pick holder for any musician that plays with a pick. Never lose your pick again. It's magic. No, it's the Stick-a-Pick. Get yours today. Our 6th People's Choice story comes from our September issue, and it's on 3D printing. Some really cool stuff. And here, once again, is a previous version of myself to tell you about it. 3D printing and the Peachy printer. Rich here, and this month we are going to take a look at the world of 3D printing. More accurately, we're going to take a look at a 3D printer that is going to reshape how we look at 3D printing. I'm talking about the Peachy printer. The Peachy is being developed by a group of Canadian investors called Renovated Design with the help of crowdfunding. It promises to be one of the most innovative and cost-efficient approaches to 3D printing to date. With a price tag of $100, it won't be long before swarms of excited designers are printing their own amazing creations in their home or office with this fantastic tool. How does the Peachy keep the cost well below the competition? The answer sounds as interesting as the printer itself. While other 3D printers keep costs down by using cheaper parts in their designs, the creators of the Peachy printer decided to reinvent how a 3D printer works. The Peachy's design removes the need for costly shafts, bearings, and springs while using a script written for Blender 3D, a free 3D modeling program, allowing it to use your sound card to drive the print system. This design removes the need for costly external microcontrollers and digital to analog converters. By working with your sound card, the Peachy is able to create extremely accurate prints. Most sound cards are 16-bit, meaning that the signal to the printer has a resolution over 4 gigapixels. The Peachy printer's innovations don't stop here. You start with a 3D model of the object you wish to print. The software the designer wrote converts the image to a WAV file, which controls a mirror-directed laser in the Peachy. To print, the laser cures a light-sensitive resin floating on a level of salt water. A specially designed drip system adds salt water to the resin container, causing it to rise. The Peachy calculates the level of the salt water in the container using the mic input on the sound card and uses that to create a Z-axis in the print that is less than 1/100th of an inch. What does that mean? It means the Peachy is capable of truly amazing detail without the need for costly rigid frames, stepper motors, and the electronics needed to control them. In closing, if you have wanted to have your own 3D printer but have not had and or wanted to shell out a few grand to get one, then the Peachy printer might just be the perfect option for you. While the system has not yet been released to the general public, you can keep up with the designer's progress at peachyprinter.com. While you're on the site, sign up for their mailing list so you'll be notified when you can order your very own Peachy printer. I must say, 3D printing has never looked so peachy keen. Thanks for watching and listening.
Hey ladies, are you ready for your 20-minute twerk out? Because it starts now.
Advertisements are great, but I'd rather see yours here than this. So send us an email entitled AdSpace to mnewlightmag@gmail.com to find out how to get your advertisement in our publication. And well, see less of this.
I think I pulled a groin.
For our 7th People's Choice story, we're talking Dummies to Digital from our April issue. And here's Samantha once again to tell you a little bit more about that.
From Dummies to Digital, the evolution of motion picture effects. In this digital age, we often forget or never knew just how much hard work and ingenuity it took to make a truly believable and exciting movie. The skills needed for special effects took great imagination and technical knowledge of working with the camera and ordinary objects to create an extraordinary and stunning portrayal of events in a believable fashion. The first special effect ever used in a film was in a production by Alfred Clark in 1895 with a reenactment of the beheading of Queen Mary of Scots. By stopping the camera and having the other actors stand perfectly still while the actress was replaced with a dummy prop and restarting the camera just in time to capture the axe dropping to lop off the head, the very first motion picture special effect known as the stop trick was created. While this was after the first trick photograph, created by Oscar Raylander in 1856, it was a first for the film industry and became a commonly used practice in special effects over the next century. By the early 1900s, techniques were expanded to use the matte shot, with improvements made by Norman Don by putting cardboard or glass into the camera to cover parts of the film that could be filmed over for additional effects. This also led to the invention of multiple exposures, dissolves, time-lapse photography, and hand-painted color techniques. Nearing the middle of the 20th century, motion film effects were improving with practices using double exposure, rear projection, matte compositing, and creating molds from the actor's face to fit a more realistic mask, which opened up the door for the science fiction and horror genres to leave an impressive mark. It was also during this time that animation, claymation, and miniature models became a regular practice in creating the desired effect to make the unbelievable look believable on film. Ray Harryhausen made stop-motion animation a landmark in special effects with his compositing techniques, bringing even more versatility to the motion picture industry and adding an ability to bring the impossible and unusual to life. During the 1950s and 60s, using lens flare, chroma blocking, known as blue screen or green screen applications, and a multitude of other improved and enhanced techniques were fully implemented to create a realism in films unlike any before. The practices of special effects were striving to make the people watching believe that what they were seeing was just as real as the actors in the film. A lot of trial and error went into the development of these effects, challenging the creativity of those involved to continually produce that realistic appeal. By the 1990s, CGI, short for computer-generated imagery, began to be used as the digital age was born. The flat 2D graphic, or a 3D mesh graphic, was merged with the images captured with a film or digital camera. This allowed for a more cost-effective way to produce spectacular and dramatic effects, removing much of the trial and error in creating a specific imagery on a camera, but also removed some of the more realistic feel and reaction during the filming process. Disney's production of Tron was the first film to fully use CGI for its creation, mingling it with cuts from live actor interaction, which paved the way for some of the more current movies, like Toy Story, Avatar, The Hulk, and many others. While mechanical and visual effects have not become a complete thing of the past, the usage of CGI has in many ways opened the door for creating worlds and creatures that would be nearly impossible to reproduce with the practical techniques, while creating that sense of realism. Many movie fans are torn between the CGI and the FX techniques of the 20th century's filmmakers. Where some feel that the CGI has lost the realistic and artistic implementation used in previous techniques, others feel the CGI enhances the ability to create a wider spectrum of sets, landscapes, and creatures that would otherwise seem less realistic. As a movie buff that loves the special effects, I personally feel it takes a collaboration of the practical effects and the CGI to make the most realistic and exciting visual effects we currently see in film. So what do you think? Visit our site at www.INLVM to share your views and ideas about the world of special effects and give us your opinion about whether you think the CGI has enhanced or cheapened the overall outcome of our nation's largest entertainment industry. Thank you for listening and watching. This is Samantha Phoenix with a New Light Video Magazine.
Finally Film Productions. To find out more, contact Rich Lane at richlane777@gmail.com. Our 8th People's Choice story comes from our June issue, and it's about a really cool all-natural bug killer called Diatomaceous Earth. Once again, here's Tammy to tell us more about it.
Diatomaceous Earth, the bug killer safe enough to eat. Diatomaceous Earth. Have you ever heard of it? Many of us probably have not. If you work on a farm or in the type of agriculture that requires taking care of animals, you are more likely to be familiar with diatomaceous earth. It is something that is used for a variety of reasons, ranging from health to pest control. Where to begin? Let's start with what it is, and then I'll tell you about the great benefits it has to offer. Diatomaceous earth was discovered by a German named Peter Kasten around 1836 or 1837. Its original German name is Kessliger. Diatomaceous earth is also known as diatomite and DE, which is just an abbreviation of the name. Diatomite is the natural accumulation of amorphous silica that forms diatoms in marine sediment. We get diatoms from the fossil remains of microscopic hard-shelled algae. Basically, it is tiny fossilized algae that can be accumulated into a powder. Under a microscope, it can look like tiny spikes or shards of glass. These are crumbles of tiny marine shells that are made up of or that form biogenic silica. It is an odorless, non-toxic white powder. Knowing what it is doesn't give much clue to what makes it so special, really, but it has a wide variety of benefits for animals and humans. It is, however, lethal to creepy crawlers that have an exoskeleton. These diatoms eliminate them by cutting right through their shell and eggs like tiny razor blades. Anything that has an exoskeleton, such as scorpions, spiders, ants, roaches, fleas, ticks, and mites. The list goes on, but you get the idea. The food-grade diatomaceous earth is what we're talking about, so don't go to the garden center and buy the diatomaceous earth bug killer, unless you're using it only in the garden. It is not exactly the same as the food-grade DE and could be harmful to ingest or use on your pets. While they both kill bugs, you can eat food-grade DE, and some people do, for the silica that it has, which is a very helpful and a necessary mineral for our bodies. It is a preventative for intestinal bugs and is used as a dewormer for animals and humans by adding a little in food. I know that is kind of a gross thought, but good to know nonetheless. It can rid your home and pets of pests inside and out, like fleas, roaches, mites, ants, and even bed bugs. It is safe enough to use on your pet's bedding and even on your pets for fleas and mites. Some animals are extremely sensitive to chemicals like cats, birds, guinea pigs, and bunnies. This is a safer alternative for them that really works by adding a light dusting to their fur. However, everything in moderation, don't overdo it. Breathing excessive dust could cause temporary respiratory issues. A little goes a long way in this case, but you can put it just about anywhere you need to create a barrier for pests, or get rid of them completely. It's so simple, and it costs a lot less than the chemical compounds that we often buy for pest control. And best of all, it really works. In the southern areas of the United States during the summer, if you have pets or even if you don't, you know the summer is bug season. And that means flea, tick, and mite season too. I personally think I may have more animals than sense, and knowing I have a natural and healthy way to prevent and treat my animals and home for these pests is great news. I have to say that my results were better than expected. No flea, tick, spider, roach, or mite worries anymore. If you're looking for a natural, holistic cure for your pest issues, I would highly recommend food-grade Diatomaceous earth as an easy, inexpensive, safe, and effective solution. One of the things I found interesting is that diatomaceous earth is already used in our foods and most of us don't even realize it. It is used in grains, beans, rice, corn, and other stored foods to keep bugs out. It's a natural dehumidifier too. By absorbing moisture to keep stored foods dry, it preserves food for longer periods of time. This is Tammy with the New Light Video Magazine sharing helpful insight into some natural solutions.
Our 9th People's Choice story comes from our July issue, and it's Earth's Little Miracle Plant. And here's Samantha again to tell you a little bit about it.
Earth's Little Miracle Plant. What if one plant that grows easily on a global scale could heal our bodies and our planet? What if this one plant could be used for paper products while saving forest trees and natural wildlife habitats, can be used in making biodegradable plastics more durable than steel and non-polluting biofuel, is used in textiles for making the most durable apparel, and can be mixed with other natural fibers for softness and durability, is used in body care products, soaps, creams, lotions, and many topical treatments for moisturizing and healing the skin, can be used in building textiles to make stronger, mold and mildew resistant textiles unlike synthetic materials. It is rich in nutrients and protein, so it makes an excellent source of food for animals and humans, is a safe, economical, and hypoallergenic fiber for bedding of farm animals. Its seeds are used often in nutritional supplements. The essential oils are used for everything from cooking or lubricating cutting tools to medicinal purposes and skin health. At this time, there is over 50,000 ways to use this plant, and that continues to grow with continued research. Did you know such a plant existed? Many have no idea that this one amazing plant does more than the one thing it's best known for, which is the psychotropic quality in its bud. This little miracle on earth is called Cannabis sativa by its Latin name, hemp by its industrial name, and marijuana or loco weed as its prohibition name. I could spend an entire page writing all the different code names for this one plant, so I'll simply move on to why all of these wonderful things are commonly unknown. The synthetics and petroleum industries would have never become the immense financial institutions, nor would we have such a great dependency on them if the hemp industry had not been squashed in the 1930s. You can easily educate yourself about how and why this happened by reading Jack Herer's book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, which can now be found online for free at www.jackherer.com and as a free PDF download at rollinggreenproject.org. Because of the fact that the commonly known terms cannabis sativa and hemp were not used in the bill for the prohibition, the AMA did not find out until it was too late that their medicinal use for research and treatment that could successfully use the cannabis sativa properties for healing were also being squashed. The cannabinoids in the bud of the plant have been successfully used in treatments for thousands of years, until the prohibition of marijuana. We are only recently beginning to fully understand what has been taken away from our health and well-being. Cannabis is used in treatments for more ailments than I could list, but range from pain management, mental health and depression management, skin disorders, cancer, leukemia treatment for the side effects of radiation, to poultices and salves used for topical treatments. Cannabis is not only nurturing to our bodies, but also to our planet. Planting hemp crops in soil that is soaked with radiation can remove the toxins from the dirt and make it viable for food growth again, as well as planting it after crops like tobacco that drain the nutrients from the soil to replenish it. It radiates more oxygen into our atmosphere than any other plant in existence, which can actually heal the damage that has been done to our ozone layer and could help to deplete the industrial pollutants and raise the air quality on a global scale. Because of its resilience and the fact that it has little to no need for herbicides or pesticides, it is one of the most naturally, organically grown plants that can thrive in almost any climate, all from this one little miracle of Earth. Many people don't realize that hemp and cannabis sativa are the same plant. They are. The difference is due to the pollination of the plant, creating a change in the psychotropic properties of the flowering bud. While the male and female plant both have levels of the psychotropic chemical known as THC, the female has the greatest concentration and is best used for the medicinal qualities of the plant. If pollinated by the male, the THC concentrations drop to a level of being so low it would have no effect if used for medicinal or psychotropic purposes. This is known as industrial hemp, which is where the fuels, textiles, building materials, and much more is manufactured from. When cultivated for medicinal uses, the female plants are separated from the males and take much more time, attention, and special care than the industrial cultivation. Different levels of medicinal strains can be cultivated for specific treatment by naturally changing the levels of the properties in the cannabinoids, making them better for pain relief or neurological relief, depending on the needs of the treatment, such as the Charlotte's Web strain, which was cultivated to stop epileptic seizures, especially in children. So, in all the reefer madness, would you have ever expected that it was all about this one amazingly useful and healing plant? Our first U.S. president said it best. So to quote General George Washington, "Grow it everywhere. Hemp is greatly viable for winning the war and sustaining a future fantastic for America." This is Samantha Phoenix on Holistic Health for A New Light Video Magazine. Thank you for watching and listening.
Our astronomy and astrology photo of the month People's Choice comes from our May issue, and it's the Butterfly Nebula. And here's Tammy to tell you more about it.
Astronomy and astrology. Astronomy photo of the month, Butterfly Nebula. May brings flowers and butterflies. This butterfly nebula, cataloged as NGC 6302, was discovered in 1826 by James Dunlap. It is also called the Bug Nebula. In 2009, Hubble's Wide Field Camera 3 captured this image while exploring the dying central star that is on its way to becoming a white dwarf. This nebula is located in the constellation of Scorpius, which is associated with the zodiac sign Scorpio. It lies in the loop area of the tail of the scorpion. This nebula is about 4,000 light-years away. There is another nebula that also carries the name Butterfly Nebula. So to be fair, I had to show them both. This image was taken with Hubble's Wide Field Camera 2. The more common name for NGC 2346 is the hourglass. It was discovered in 1785 by William Herschel. NGC 2346 is a planetary nebula, about 2,000 light-years away. It is located near the celestial equator in the Monoceros constellation that is known as the Unicorn. Don't be misled with an idea of it being a dainty butterfly frolicking in space. Reports suggest that this nebula is larger than our solar system. It is said to measure 1/3 the size of a light-year in diameter. Image credit for both of these space butterflies is NASA ESA and the Hubble Space Telescope. Thanks to Hubble for many years of service being our eyes to the universe, Hubble celebrated 24 years of service in April.
Our 10th People's Choice story is about black holes in the universe from our December issue. And Tammy, take it away and tell them a little bit about it.
Black holes in the universe. How our perspectives are changing. Throughout the magazine, we have talked about time travel and teleportation, so it seemed natural to follow up with a story on black holes in the universe. Black holes have gained popularity by the wonder of them too, being some type of portal or warp in time that is a possible window to another world. Honestly, we still are not sure what they are or why they occur. Still a scientific mystery, yet not in the same manner as it is depicted in science fiction. Or is it? There are many theories and ideas about black holes, but this is what we do know of them. Black holes are an invisible energy force of gravity that powerfully condense matter into tiny space. It is so strong that even light cannot get out of it. This can form when a massive star dies. The star is said to collapse on itself, meaning it is imploding, in an explosion that turns into a supernova and forms a black hole. Scientists believe that there are black holes in the center of galaxies, like our own Milky Way galaxy. The black hole in the center of our galaxy is called Sagittarius A. When we try to decide where the nearest black hole is to Earth, some reports or stories refer to Sagittarius A. the black hole in the center of our Milky Way galaxy. But recently, science made a new discovery. A newer candidate that is 1,600 light-years away is known as V4641 Sagittarius. At first, V4641 was believed to be a star. It was discovered as a black hole in 1999. That is just the beginning. Even more recent new discoveries are finding that black holes vary in size to being the size of the state to several times the mass of our Sun. Not only that, but they are plentiful in the universe. So finding one closer is likely to happen at any moment. While science has been trying to understand one of the biggest mysteries in our universe, grasping to identify something that is unseen and trying to make it stable, we find it is not. While we reason that they are formed from dying stars, we can't really explain why we have discovered hundreds, up to 2,000 or more throughout the outer bands of our own galaxy. It is undetermined if they pop up and dissipate or stay lingering in the cosmic dust of the Milky Way's outer bands. Researching the black holes in the universe really brought even more questions, but one thing was certain. What we thought we knew, we had no idea. What we are learning, we can hardly believe. Now you know, there are a lot more black holes, not just in the universe, but right in our own galaxy than we ever expected. There is still more we are yet to learn, as we still don't know what happens to or where all the matter goes that is being compressed and held by the massive grips of the gravitational pull of a black hole. So who knows, maybe science fiction isn't that far off. Truth is stranger than fiction, and things are getting peculiar. I'm Tammy Sabo with the New Light Video Magazine, sharing some insight on the black holes of the universe. Astronomy and Astrology, Celestial Calendar and Forecast, March through April of 2015. The Astronomy and Astrology Calendar and Forecast is an easy-to-follow presentation. You can see what is happening by the date events are occurring in astronomy and astrology in one section. Thursday, March 5th, the full worm moon, also called the crow moon, sap moon, and crust moon, in the astronomical sign of Sextans, in the astrological sign of Virgo. The full moon in Virgo can provide a resource of nervous energy. This can make us feel more talkative, fidgety, or anxious if we become nervous or challenged. However, this can also influence sharp wit and quick thinking. Under the influence of Virgo, our common sense and practicality is heightened, which allows us to more easily use and see a logical approach to situations. Worry and self-doubt may also be intensified. Beware of the desire to seek out debates that could turn into arguments. Saturday, March 14th. Saturn enters retrograde March 14th of 2015 in Sagittarius. It is in retrograde until August 2nd of 2015. Saturn in retrograde motion is about defining boundaries and provides opportunities to reassess what we have taken on, reevaluate commitments, projects started, and responsibilities undertaken in the past. This retrograde heightens the courage necessary to finally say no, or to back out of bad, unwise, or unhealthy commitments. Do not start any new business activity while Saturn is retrograde, although this is a good time to cultivate your creativity in productive ways. Sunday, March 15th, we have the peak of the Gamma Normans meteor shower. Active from February 25th through March 28th, on peak we can see about 6 per hour. Our viewing rating for this meteor shower is a 2-star. On Friday, March 20th, we have the new moon in the astronomical sign of Pisces and in the astrological sign of Aries. The new moon in impulsive Aries. During this phase, we are more than likely to experience a pushing desire to take action in our life and any projects we may have going. This will fuel the need to move forward with an urgency. The caution with this placement is that Aries can surely drive us to action with a quickness, yet at times this may be too hasty. Channel that excessive energy into projects to get the most benefit from the bursting energy you are feeling. Feeling quirky and accident-prone during this time is common. Often, this phase strongly influences our need for personal independence. On Wednesday, April 1st, we have the peak of the Anthelion Source meteor shower. It is active from December 10th through September 10th. On peak, we can see about 4 per hour, and as a viewer rating, we give this a 1-star rating. On Saturday, April 4th, we have the full pink moon, also called the seed moon, sprouting grass moon, egg moon, and fish moon, in the astronomical sign of Virgo and in the astrological sign of Libra. A full moon in Libra is about the ability to take action. Libra is considered the peacemaker of the zodiac. During this phase, you are more likely to desire and need to establish balance. Often this influence helps us identify with the problems of others and their point of view. Our ability to listen and calm someone else may be called into action. Any issues that need to be resolved, put in balance, or making amends will be of most importance during this phase. You are more likely to be able to see the better in people and will be more inclined to encourage others and be a support. On Saturday, April 18th, we have the new moon in the astronomical sign of Pisces and in the astrological sign of Taurus. The new moon in Taurus is about nightlife, socializing, and adventure. Traditionally, this influence is considered to be intense at times with quick swings in personality. During this phase, you are likely to feel very protective of your securities, foundation, and possessions. Any challenge that may threaten those things could incite aggression or defensiveness at intense levels. We may desire our independence and freedoms more, and in some ways need them. Watch out for the strong urge to splurge. You may acquire things you will wonder about later. The Taurus influence will have us all yearning for the good life, fine things, and delicious food. On Wednesday, April 22nd, we have the peak of the Lyrids meteor shower, which is active from April 16th through April 25th. On peak, we can see about 18 per hour, and as the viewer star rating goes, we give this one a 3-star rating. On Friday, April 24th, we have the peak of the Pie Puppets meteor shower. It is active from April 15th through April 28th, and on peak it's variable. And as for our viewer star rating, we give this a 1-star rating. That concludes our astronomy and astrology celestial calendar and forecast. Visit our website at www.newlightvideomagazine.com for more information and some cool merchandise. I'm Tammy Sabo, the INLVM staff astrologer, sharing an outlook on astronomy and astrology.
In New Light Video Magazine, seeing in a new perspective. We're the first of our kind as a video magazine, combining the portability of video with the convenience of a magazine that reads itself to you, making our publication user-friendly for the hearing and visually impaired. We strive to bring you, our viewers and listeners, stories that we hope will inspire you to see things in a new light. To find out more about who we are, what we do, and how you can become a contributor to show your support, please visit our website. And while you're there, check out our social media connections as well, including our new virtual world experience. That website is www.innewlightvideomagazine.com or www.inlvm.com. As always, from the staff here at INLVM, we thank you for watching and listening.